back to the channel. I know you're hearing a lot of noise. I've got fans going on. It is about 85 degrees in here and it's warm, so I'm going to keep that air kind of moving through. So if you hear the noise, that's what it is. Make sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up if you like the content, and make sure to hit that post notification bell to make sure you get all of the new episodes. We had a really good day the other day, and getting both of the insides of the kayaks fiberglassed. And I did go back over yesterday and I kind of trimmed out along there. I know that I could probably leave it at this point, but there's some areas that are a little bit sharp. I did notice some areas where there were some pockets in it, so I've actually cut those out. We'll probably do some epoxy filling, maybe some grafting of some fiberglass at a later date. But what I want to do today is start laying out the back hatch. But first what I want to do is I definitely want to go over this with some maybe 60 grit, just to kind of cut down these edges so that we can make sure that we're not going to get cut. And then there's some places on the inside down towards the bow that I want to make. It's actually where we put the second layer on, and it may not have been perfect across there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put some gloves on, we're going to put a mask on, and we're just going to go ahead and just sand mine down on the inside. We'll flip it over and we'll start laying out the back hatch. Okay, now we have just kind of scuffed this down a little bit. There's some little pocket areas here where I'm going to have to do some work on just to re-strengthen that. Oh, I did notice I didn't get that. So I should probably just take that sander and get that really quick. I did, and this is where these were brought together. There's going to be more sanding on here because we'll end up cutting out the hatch here. And then when that flips over, we'll work on that a whole lot more. But I'm going to take and I'm just going to do a little bit more on that. Probably just I could probably actually take a file and take care of it, a little piece of sandpaper. That's what I'll do. I'll finish that up. We'll flip it over. I'm going to bring the stern back, and we'll start working on that from that standpoint. So this is actually a long time coming, so I'm gonna go get our plates, our templates, and I've actually got them up over here. Have all these different rings. So one of the things that I did do is I did take and get a few of those weepers taken care of. Really, wasn't that bad. Even though we taped them up and we did all that work prior to, there was still some weepage that came through, which that's okay. We'll end up sanding those down. At least by us filling those in, it wasn't going to be a whole bunch going through. I think a lot of what it was, you know, when you're squeegeeing that stuff out, I think that's what kind of gets in there and kind of pushes through the other side. So this is actually going to be the template. So we're going to do a template on the inside. We're supposed to be so many inches back, but we'll see how this works. Because remember, this one here is set back farther because somebody didn't read the directions well enough. This one over here, there's going to be plenty of room. Plenty of room. There's plenty of room, but it may just be back here a little bit further, or we may just kind of work through it. So, in reading the directions, here, and this is saying 11.5 inches back from the cockpit. So we still may be able to take care of this, because if we go 11.5 inches back from here, we may be about in this point here. So now the only problem is I don't have any measuring tools. They're all up at the house. So I'm gonna go up to the house and get some. So let's see what we can do here. 11.5 inches. That actually puts that right there. Now I'm sure that's gonna go back a little bit further, but I think we're gonna come into, I think I'm gonna take it back a little further. I'm gonna do 12.5 inches. So my center point being here. Okay. And if we look at this, I mean, it's showing about that. And we are going to put that directly in the center. So I do have 2 holes here, and what I'm going to do is use those as a little bit of a guide and find my center point. So that's exactly 2 inches. So we'll do a 1 inch. We'll do the same down here. Find our center point. That looks good. I'm going to take a line of sight too. That looks good. And then we're going to adhere this down. So that's pretty good. So what we'll end up doing is I'll come in and tape a few of these. We're going to cut on the ins, not cut, we're going to draw on the inside. And this tape is not going to stay down long, so we don't have that much time. Now the directions, again, so now that I'm starting to read directions a whole lot more, is that they are, again, saying the inside. The inside. So keep that in mind, the inside. And we're going to just trace around this. I'm going to get these, and then I'm going to take the tape up and get the rest of it. I'm going to go ahead and put this tape back down on it. Maybe that'll help it secure it in place. And we can let this one. Okay, so now we have this set. We'll take a look at this again, make sure that that looks pretty good. So the one hard part in any of this is, we look at that, we look at that. I'm gonna say that's close enough because it's probably off anyway. So that's gonna be our inside opening. So we wanna make sure to cut that part. So there are two things that we're gonna do. First part, is to tape up the bottom of our saw, because we don't want the finish to be marred. Now, this looks pretty nice anyway, but it's best just to be overprotective. Of course, we're going to have to get an area there for the blade to go through. The other thing was, I purchased, and this is what it was saying, you could either do this with a saw or metal blades. So I got 3-inch little small metal blades because they said that the cut would be better. So that's what we're going to use. Check that. Okay, I think we've got that. The other thing was, because this is actually going to be a very tight kind of fit, what you want to do is you want to take, now these are a 1/16 of an inch drill bits, and you want to just get in here and drill enough so that it's wide enough to put that blade in. And then we're going to follow this around very carefully. So we went ahead and I drilled just some really small 16-inch holes, because you want to try to stay on that line, because this is going to be, the tighter we can make that, that's the tightness of this hatch against this area here. So we want to precisely cut around these lines here. So I've got the blade in now, and it is a metal blade, and we're just going to start cutting all the way around there. Let's see what happens. Okay, just a few things. The tape worked, but probably some better tape. As you can kind of see, kind of boogered that up a little bit. I'll be able to smooth it out, but it wasn't perfect all the way around. Just be cognizant of your blade. That's the biggest thing. And I turned up the speed on it. And so one thing that I did notice with the speed, it worked a lot better. But as I let go, you've got to keep your eye on where that jigsaw is at, because if not, it'll wander on you as it's slowing down. So I feel pretty good about this cut. I'm going to take this off, and that should be it for this one here. I'm not quite sure what we do next, but that's all we wanted to get done with this particular boat. Did pretty well. We did just kind of do a little bit more on that. I'm gonna have to stand a little bit more, but really happy, and that's gonna be a nice strong piece once we get the fiberglass on this side. But I'm gonna read some of the directions and figure out what we do for the underneath, because there may just be some stuff that we end up gluing in there. Don't know, but we can I'll take a look and I'll be right back. So, a big next step, huge next step. We'll end up doing this with the other one. I think I'm done for the day, or done for this weekend. However, the next step is to marry the two together. So I do have to go and order some filament tape so that I can. One of the things that we will do is, as we put this on the hull, we'll come back in here and make sure that this is attached in the right places throughout that entire hull. I know that there was probably another episode when I said there's a lot of gaps in here. Well, we'll just get our hands underneath and make sure those are pulled out so that they attach where they should. And that filament tape is a very aggressive, strong tape, so that's going to be good from that standpoint. Now, the reason why we cut this out is because that's the only way that once we marry these two together that you're going to get your hands in there, because that bulkhead runs right across here, and what you'll end up doing is kind of sealing that bulkhead. For here, we can get down in with a long piece of we'll make a tool to get down in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring the hull down, and we're going to put the two on top of each other, and that's it for the day. We'll come out. Maybe what I'll do is just put that up there. I think that's what I'll do, is I'll just put it up there so that during the week we can bring this one down, sand it all around, and start the cutout from that. Let's do that, and we're going to end up calling it a day. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that thumbs up if you really like the content, and turn on your post notifications to catch all the episodes of the Bucket List Project. Currently, right now, we're doing the kayaks and the condo projects. Thanks for watching.